This is a quick video on a fan coil assembly. This is for a IEC. It's a 12, it's a big guy. There's 10s, there's 8s. They have the setup like this, 2 and 2. This one is, the original complaint was loud fan. This is because of all this cake. I mean, and this is very caked up. And then one fan started screeching. You can see the oil's leaked out, and it's created an imbalance here. That's pretty caked up, but every single one is caked up, and it doesn't do this evenly. And even on this, there's the one I scraped off. See, that's pretty excessive. May look clean, but it's absolutely not. So I'm gonna have to undo these screws here and here and here and here to get this housing out. And then I'm gonna have to undo the motor. I'm gonna change everything on this. So you can just see that oil's leaked out there. It's just gathering dust. And undo those clips on the motor as well. Oh, actually I don't need to take these mounts out here. I can undo the clips on the motor and pull the whole assembly, this whole assembly out. All right, I'll give you an update when I get a little farther along on this, but I had to cut the ceiling open. As you can see, this comes right up to my shoulder. Wow. So I've removed all the screws. If you have a, one of these nice tools that has a low, low distance here. All manufacturers make something nice like that. Be nice. This is sheet metal. Here, be nice. Don't over torque them. All right, I've removed these. I've also removed the motor brackets from here. And I'm ready to pull this fan assembly up. It may catch like it is, and that's on account of these little, metal things. You may have to push that through. All right, so I'm gonna pull this straight up, work these out one at a time, and we'll get that in. Probably the worst thing for me of this job is actually these little clip connectors. There's some kind of compression ring that makes that a lot easier, usually in an awkward situation. All right, update to come. That's just to show you how it decouples. And if it's fighting you, make sure you've taken all the screws out. I left 2 in. Funny how it doesn't come out. All right. So you're still gonna have the grounding cables attached to the motor. All right, and there's one right there. That's what's holding it in right now. All right, completely decoupled. Next, I'm gonna clean the shaft here because I'm gonna have to pull that off. I'll do this one first. Then, it'll behoove you to clean every shaft, the one that you slide it off of. Some emery cloth, and then lube it up. See, it doesn't distribute evenly, the dust. And then you have your set screw. There's your set screw. Be really careful when you have these on the table like that. You don't want to be bending your blower wheel, which is this. So here's the blower wheel assembly. I've made a jig. If you're in a position to make a jig ever, this can sit on, then these can rotate on their own. That's great. So I'm going to grab this here, and I'm going to rotate this off. You may be tempted to put a puller on this and try and pull it off, but you will end up bending this. You have to be able to take this off with your hand. I've wiped this off. I'll re-clean that. And that's pretty clean. It should spin off. So I spun off the assembly. This one gave me a little bit of trouble, so I shot some WD-40 down the set screw hole. Now, I remove set screws. There's different opinions on this. As long as you don't lose them, keep your tools or keep your parts all in one location. I should actually have this in a box. if you have problems spinning this off, this does have a D shape, so you can use a crescent on that. Just be really careful spinning this so you don't bend it. Take your time. See, this has a little bit more buildup on it. Always has a little bit of a burr. Take your time cleaning. Re-clean it. Don't over torque this, you will damage it. Next thing on this is to remove the wiring. So that's pretty typical. I'll correct that. Make it look like that. I'll show you the new ones, new motors when I get that in. Now you may be tempted to blow this out with air, but don't do it. 2 reasons. You'll kill yourself, and it won't come off evenly. It's a small blower. This is a nice brush, Amazon. It's like $7. Really nice brush to have to clean this. I'm going to use water. I'm going to use hot water. These over here probably need some kind of degreaser on this. Just going to let it sit. I had one in an elevator room which is completely caked. I had to go up a notch on the cleaner and use some dielectric degreaser to actually get that off. Pretty nasty stuff. But these will clean up really nice. But don't use compressed air. Even with a coil degreaser, it's still got a little thin layer. I've cleaned it off with some contact cleaner. We'll see if there's an easier way to do this. I have time. At some point you got to call it good enough. But I have time, and we're going to be doing a number of these, so I'm going to do a little research, a little R&D. So I wanted to show you the good news. Well, here's the good news, bad news. Rotation. This is important. I didn't mark it when I took it off. So this is going to rotate this way in the fan housing to blow out there. So if you look at this rotation, this motor's actually in backwards. Not a big deal. Just rotate it the other way. And we're good. Something to check before you assemble everything back together. That way, this will be rotating correct way. Where'd that arrow go? There it is. Be rotating the correct way so your blower will actually blow instead of just sit there and spin. It's cleaned up really nice, really quick actually. Oh, I might go through with my little brush just in case I see another piece. Be sure to get everything out of the housing too. That was pretty quick once you get them off. So the degreaser did something. However, some chemistry's been going on. I had to clean. I'm gonna have to clean this one with this brush. Not a big deal. You can see that this guy here is smooth. You can see the buildup sitting on here. That's actually kind of rough. By the way, I'm cheating. This is 150-degree water. Still, even with that, it's not reacting. So, those other degreasers, you can stick this in a 5-gallon bucket if you have some kind of nice parts degreaser. That'd be the way to go. But I'm going to have to go through and clean each one of these. Time on task. Here we go. So it's the one the motor leaked its grease out on. This is what's still remaining on there. I'm going to go spray that with some degreaser and see exactly what I need to do to get that, clean to that condition. This is the new motor. Important to check. Go ahead and pull it out of the old bracket here. Make sure that it fits well. On here, I had to bend this just slightly, which is acceptable. Some of them won't work, and you'll have to actually modify this to fit in here, and that is a pain. So this is good news. Good fit, good size, same shaft length, same capacitor too. Good fit, same RPM, same speed. Here's the degreaser doing its work. Now, I'm using a coil cleaner, pretty aggressive. Minus on this is it's going to take the finish off, if there is one, like the shiny galvanized. It'll take that off. I wonder if that's there to, maybe keep some of the dust off of it. Plus minus on that one. If it's this greasy, you better have fans available, fan motors available to replace, because it's an indication, master the obvious, you know. It's an indication that that motor is going. And this one was dirty, was loud because it was unbalanced, and then it started screeching. So I could have predicted that because it's 20 years, 1999, currently 23 right now, 23 years old. Had a really good life. Yeah, you can question whether this is worth, you know, going through this work on here. But it's a very simple unit. Alright, we're going to let that sit. Unpack our new motor. This is in a laundry room, and we had to take out the entire ceiling right there. The hatchway is in the middle, and there's just no way of getting that out. You see it goes all the way back on that side and all the way back on this side. Yeah, we had to go ahead and hook the wires back up to the Molex connectors. Now it's quiet. That's on high. Big improvement. This would have shaken itself out of the ceiling at this point. It's back together. It's always good to test it. See if it didn't damage any of the blades. So start to put this back together. Do yourself a favor before you put both of them on. Reattach the grounding strap. It's really hard to get that on with the other cowl on. So we're going to do a little cleaning. I'm going to keep this jig for future work. Just out of curiosity, I took this apart to see if there's any bearings that are replaceable, and no, it's just got that metal ring that sits in an oil bath, and this should be wet with oil, but it's not. It's completely dry. And you can see scoring right there. So sadly, no bearings to be replaced here. This is a nice wire though, if you ever need anything for wiring inside fan coil units or other high voltage equipment. So we'll be good. Trying to keep a better, cleaner shop. So this is something else. So this is the motor, a Granger product. It is $252. We use two. So what is that? $504 plus 6 hours, probably more like 8 hours of labor. So you can judge whether that's worth it or not. I'm curious what the entire fan coil assembly costs. And the age of the unit is 23 years old. All right.